Nice to know that I finally got everything unpacked and situated in. Wait, what's this box here? I don't remember this. What the? What the heck? Winston!
Freedom! Sweet, sweet freedom! Oh my... Get this... Get this... That is the last time I am ever watching an episode of SpongeBob and taking inspiration from it. Imagination, my little... Oh, hi Black Cross, how you doing?
What are you doing in there?
I was trapped. I was helping Delma move, and then one of y'all's friends, I believe his name was James, the guy who shouts Flea J or whatever, and he thought I was a stuffed animal and he put me in here. And I've been stuck since... what's today?
November.
Oh, okay, it's November. Okay, that's good to hear. I mean...
Wait a second! Ah!
Oh, hey Black Cross, how you doing?
I am here to shave that beard of yours now.
Actually, I'm glad you're here because we just finished signing my name on here.
Wait, sign?
Okay, yeah, here you go.
Let's see here. To Black Cross Lloyd gameplay. This here is a restraining order. Restraining order?
Yes, restraining order to stay away from my beard until the end of December. Because I know you didn't shave my beard last year, but you're always the main cause of it. So I'm just making this as a safety note to not shave my beard. Because I want to at least survive 1 month, or at least 1 year, where I have this glorious beard on my face. Granted, I know that happened last year, but I can't remember anything of that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and film my review, and I'll see you later.
That's unfortunate. Of all the time, I completely forgot that it was November.
Well, I mean, you got a calendar there. I'm surprised you didn't really, like, you know, take a look at it or something.
Yeah, but you know what November means, don't you?
Pumpkin pie?
Well, that.
Turkey?
That too.
Charlie Brown?
Yeah. The point is no shave November!
Oh, yeah, that's right, when Delmar turns into the ugly hobo man, yeah. I actually kind of get used to that after a while.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's scary and the most ugliest thing I ever seen, but you know what? I come to realize that Delmar isn't a kid anymore, and as your big brother, you should let him do what he decides. I mean, it's his body. If he wants to grow a beard, then let him. How about for 1 year, you just let the slide and allow him to grow a beard?
Nope.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Marr Show. Happy No Shave November, everybody. As you can see, I got my lovely, gorgeous beard grown out, wearing my favorite, the Completionist t-shirt, and today we are reviewing the 3rd installment of the Neptunia franchise, Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory. You guys know that I always love the series, I love all the characters, and the first 2 games were good. Well, the first game was, you know, kind of slow and really dated, but you know, all video game franchises have to start somewhere. But I'm excited to go ahead and get into Victory, so I'm just gonna cut the chit chat and just get right into the story. A few years has passed since the events of MK2. Game industry is at peace, and Neptune is as lazy as ever, as well as Neptunia, who hasn't really done anything over the past few years, even dropping down a few levels as they went on to do some quests. But one day, as his straw sends Neptune out, she's swept away into another dimension. When she arrives into this new game industry, it's very similar to back home, but with a whole 80s vibe, as well as Planetune having its own CPU, not a Neptune, but a new CPU named Plutia, or Iris Heart. While that's going on, there's an organization called the Seven Sages that plans to rid the CPUs and run game industry. So it's up to Neptune and the other CPUs to not only stop the 7 stages, but as well try to find a way to send Neptune back to her dimension. In terms of story-wise, it's kind of similar to the first game, being a lot more comical and not having so much in-depth character analysis. With MK2, since you had the sisters struggling to try to save the older sisters and try to stop the deity of sin, it wasn't focused so much on comedy, but more or less the struggle of the sisters trying to save the CPUs. However, this one is mostly comical as always, with Neptune breaking the fourth wall and engaging in all sorts of crazy adventures with the other CPUs. And one thing that I like about this game is that in the alternate game industry, there is a noir, a blonde, and a vert, but Neptune has to become friends with them again to gain this trust because, well, she's from an alternate dimension. And it's actually really interesting to see Neptune trying to become friends with them once again, kind of like a whole brand new beginning process, because, well, she's never appeared in this dimension before. Although to be fair, that's probably like one of the things I love a lot about the Neptunia games is always the story, because I always look forward to see all the comeuppance and funny dialogues that come out of these characters, and it's something that I always look forward to in each game, and Victory is no exception. Although I have to admit, I feel really bad for Nepgear in this one, because throughout the entire game, there are times where they do bash on MK2 for being a lot more serious, having her have a lot more screen time, or having less Neptune in it, which I never really had a problem because I really enjoyed playing as Nepgear or going through the journey of MK2, but I understand that there are some people who prefer more of Neptune having more comedy in it and less of trying to focus on sisters trying to become more stronger and more reliable and trying to save the older siblings. However, there's one funny gag with Nepgear that I have to admit is hilarious. It's when she gained these infinity points pretty much throughout the entire time as she's in this alternate game industry. She gains these false little affinities. They're not crucial to gameplay, they're only for like the cutscenes, but it's really hilarious to see Nepgear just doing something random and then all of a sudden a text box appears saying, "You have gained a new affinity," and it's so hilarious to see it because some of them are just completely random. In terms of the new characters, there's a few little ones. Of course, we got the 7 Sages, which are fun, interesting villains. But of all the new characters that were introduced in this game, the one that sticks out is Plutia. And for being a CPU for this dimension of Planetune, she's pretty much Neptune spot on. She's a lot more relaxed, a very slow talker, and extremely lazy. Probably even lazier than Neptune because she wants to take a nap all the time. However, Plutia is someone you don't want to mess with because if you make her angry or anything like that, she turns into her CPU form, I Was Hot.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
When she turns into I Was Hot, she becomes a totally different character altogether. She's violent, very dominatrix-like, but she's just an all-around insane CPU who just wants violence and is just punishing people. It's really awkward at times, but gosh dang it, it's funny as heck. When she's not in her CPU form, she does have a form of Senator side. It's pretty interesting to see her turn into I Was Hot in a split second. It's kind of hilarious, especially seeing all the characters, especially Noir, trying to resist Plutia from turning into her CPU form because of how dangerous she can be. However, even though I love the characters, the story, and the voice acting is always great, it's a game. It's a multi-platform Blu-ray, no, not Blu-ray, just regular disc game. So how's the game anyway? It's very similar to MK2 in terms of the battle system with the whole using combos to attack enemies. I would probably say too similar to MK2, making it not stand out as much compared to it, but there are a few small little extra stuff that they did add to make it stand out and kind of make it a little bit more interesting when you talk about the gameplay of Victory. For one, as you go around the dungeons, characters can jump now. This may not be a big deal, but it at least gives you some more entertaining stuff to make it more explorable around the world. You could just jump onto ledges to explore. You can also customize characters by using blank disk or floppy disk, and you can use different stuff to format a disk so that way they can have a little bit more extra status with them. Like say they can have a little bit of their HP increased after when it gets to their turn in the battle, or cause more damage to more insect-like enemies, or cause more damage to like more robotic enemies, stuff like that that helps boost your character stats a little bit more. Speaking of stats, that's actually one thing that I actually really like about this game is the achievement system. Each characters have their own different status. If you walk around the area long enough, like for 100 miles or something, they'll get a little achievement rating, or having little achievement effects whenever they're in battle and don't take hit, die a whole lot, get healed with different items with battle. There's a lot of different stuff in the achievement system that helps boost your characters up. And when they unlock an achievement, the HP may increase a little bit, or they get an extra point for luck, or even you can unlock a extra bonus line within the menu, which actually encourages you to not only just choose one character to play, but to play out throughout all the other characters throughout each dungeon to help boost the stats up and to unlock different achievements so that way they can have a little extra boost to the status, as well as unlock another bonus line in the menu. There's also a scout system that they can go into a dungeon, and when they go in the dungeon they can come back with extra items, have a little bit more credits so that you can use it to buy some items and so forth. And when they're also in a dungeon, there's a chance that they can unlock like certain enemies will appear whenever you have a flag up or flag down, so anyway they can change enemy patterns, or they can also make a dungeon have more experience, drop more money, stuff like that. That makes it more interesting, and that way you don't have to constantly go back and forth within each dungeon to having to get items and so forth, and can also help you spawn different enemies with the scouts as well, depending on if the flag in each dungeon is up or down. And then there's also the Nep station, which happens in around the end of a chapter, and also when you're in the chapter and you're in your little basilicom and you're watching TV there. In the Nep station, there's a few stuff that goes around. Like for example, you can have some fake news regarding like what's going on in the game industry in that dimension. There's also Nep Wallet Crusher, where you could buy a certain amount of items for a cheap price. And there's also the Nep quiz, where you can answer different questions at the end of each chapter regarding to the previous chapter or certain characters and so on. So there's a lot of extra stuff that they added into Victory that make it stand out a little bit. And I do like these little small additions time to time. It's really fun, although in terms of like stuff that I didn't like about the game, even though I do like it, there is a few stuff that if I had to really nitpick, and this is just me nitpicking here, I will admit the gameplay, even though it's not bad at all, but I guess there's not like a whole lot of stuff within like the main battle combat system that makes it stand out to MK2. In fact, speaking of the dungeons, there's actually many times where they reuse certain dungeons from MK2 and put it in Victory, which I guess is probably due to time constraints. I'm not really sure. It's definitely noticeable, and it doesn't really make it stand out in terms of original dungeon designs compared to MK2. There's also one boss in the game that I really don't like fighting. It's Mr. Bad with 2 Ds. I don't know why. But with him, I just think he's really a nuisance because he regenerates his health a lot whenever it's his turn. And the only way I could really figure out to defeat him is by having the X drives up to max and having your characters in the CPU forms to deal massive damage to him. I just don't like his fight. It's really annoying, and I guess it's a good challenge, I guess, but at the same time, his health regenerates so much that it just gets kind of annoying to fight him a lot. At the end of each chapter, you'll get a Nep Station broadcast, where 4 of the development teams will actually base your score on, like, say, shares increase, killing a certain amount of enemies, using the scout system, etc., and base your score at the end of that. I know some people say, oh, that's pretty cool, you'll get a little extra item if you scored really well, but for me, I just hate it because there are some times in each chapter where I don't focus on the scout system that much, or I didn't really focus so much on the guild and doing different quests to increase shares. In fact, honestly, gaining endings in this game is actually easier because it's not share based. It's based on like getting certain items, unlocking certain events, and etc. And that part I didn't really focus so much on the shares, but whenever when you get like a low score and the game tells you like, oh, are you even trying to enjoy the game or rushing through, even though I really love the story and I enjoy level grinding and not focusing on certain areas, I just hate that. It makes me feel guilty. It's like, am I really enjoying this game? Because I am. I really did enjoy my experience with the game overall, but whenever at the end and they said that you're not trying or not enjoying it, I just hate that. I really do. In fact, I don't really like ratings in games. I really don't. Like if it's like, say, a certain battle in a Coliseum or Time Rush, that's fine, but basing you on like your entire playthrough on a chapter, I just hate that. That's one thing I really hated, and I know it's in the Rebirth remake, but I just don't like that one. But overall, how is Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory? I really do like it. There's a few, I guess you could say there's some more flaws in the game that kind of sticks out a bit to me compared to like MK2, but I still had a blast playing it, and it's really fun. In fact, one thing I didn't notice is that, you know, from watching the anime so much, that a lot of it is actually based on stuff from Neptunia Victory, especially the half portion of the anime, which isn't bad because I enjoyed the anime and I really enjoyed this game. I mean, sure, there's a few stuff I didn't like the Famitsu rating at the end of each chapter, or fighting Mr. Bad, but I mean, a lot of that can be kind of nitpicky in a way, but you know, that's just me. I don't really try to pay attention too much to like stuff that I think is wrong with the game. I just want to enjoy the game as it is, and I really enjoyed it because I always look forward to playing the Neptunia games, mostly to see what happens with Neptunia friends going through all the different adventures and seeing the funny dialogue and mocking certain game aspects of the video game industry as a whole. So I really did have a good time with the game and I really truly enjoyed it. But now I have finally completed all 3 installments of Neptunia games, or the mainline series that was released on the PlayStation 3. So I guess before I end this video, I should talk a little bit about which game I think is better and overall which one I enjoyed a whole lot out of the original PlayStation 3 games. Well, I mean, even though the first one, it has a great story and funny characters, but overall this is probably my least favorite out of the 3 main games from the PlayStation 3, mostly because of the sluggish combat, irritating music, but I do enjoy the story. But now comes the hard question is which one of these I did like better, because, I mean, gameplay wise, they're about the same with a few little extra stuff added in Victory, but I really enjoyed the story for both of them. Granted, MK2 may not be all around hilarious compared to Victory or the first game, but it focuses more on the character developments of the sisters, so I guess I kind of like both games equally as they are. They're both really good games, but I mean, yeah, I just love them both the same, I guess. Thank you all for joining me for this video. If you played Hyperdimension Neptunia on the PlayStation 3, all 3 games, which one of those 3 do you like? And not to mention, how did you enjoy the video overall? Leave your positive or negative comments in the box below. But now if you excuse me, I'm gonna go ahead and walk outside and just enjoy the No Shave November. I really love my beard so much. Oh, what a lovely cloud. Okay, I should have got a jacket, but oh, I can't be mad. I mean, this beard is keeping my face warm anyway. Now that I think about it, beards can actually be really good scarves. Like, I'm not in a business where they take beard and they're gonna clove it around the neck like a scarf. It would be the greatest business model ever. I mean, think of the potential money. Oh, ow. Okay, who done that? I'm looking for the...
Okay then, let's turn over that leaf for you. I hope your body is ready.
You know what? I'm glad that my younger brother is growing a beard, you know? It's times like this that he needs to learn to face the troubles of manhood.
Yeah. I'm actually really happy about you. You really grown as a big brother to him. I think you've become him like an inspiration to him.
Delmar! Hey Delmar! How good is it to know that my younger brother has decided to finally grow his beard and become a man? Who's my big boy? Who's a good, beautiful, big boy? Now if you pardon me, I'm gonna start live streaming now.